And we are back. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Before I go any further, please click the subscribe button, smash that like button, hit that bell, and please, if you would like to, leave a comment in the comment section below. Now, we gonna talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. I'll say my initial feeling going into this movie, I was like, I don't know, it's too many villains, man. Sony's had a bad history with having too many villains in one movie. They never knew how to really juggle it right, and it always ends up falling flat. This, I have to say, is one of those moments where they really knocked it out of the park. My initial reaction coming out of the movie theater, I was so blown away by it. Like, I couldn't believe what they accomplished. I couldn't believe that I came out feeling like how I felt after like Infinity War and Endgame. Like I was so blown away by it, and I didn't know I would feel that way. Because I mean, I've seen other Spider-Man movies, Homecoming, Far From Home, and I felt good, but I didn't feel as overly satisfied as I did coming out of this film. And, you know, multiple villains in a movie usually means that not all of them are going to get the same amount of screen time, but I think they juggled it in a way where every one of them got enough for the arc in the story. Like, there are ones that got way more than others. There's others that got their time, but, you know, they didn't really need major time. And I feel like it was all justified. It was justified. By the end of it, you know who were the standouts, but you was like, it was good to see all of them regardless at the end of the day. I mean, I laughed, I cried, I cheered. My emotions were just all over the place. It was times where everything came all at the same time. It was just an emotional roller coaster. Like, now I know the meaning of that shit. All the performances by all the actors were great. Tom Holland, by far, this has been the best performance as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Out of all the times he showed up on screen, this is his best performance yet. And bro, he brings it. I mean, if there was a way to actually, for him to get like some type of recognition for his performance, I would hope it would be for this movie, because this dude brings it. Like, he really, really brings it. There are a lot of surprises in the movie. I know there are some that may have been spoiled for you guys, some that haven't, but at the end of the day, you got to try to go in as cold turkey as you can, because there are a lot of surprises, even things that you may have heard. It's like, all right, there's other shit in the movie that you don't realize yet till you go see it. So the leaks, try to avoid them if you can't. You'll still go in having a good time. I promise you that. I promise you that. I mean, I've heard some people say, let me step back. It's by far not a perfect movie. Not a perfect movie at all. I've heard a lot of people say that, you know, the first one is a bit of a mixed bag. Like, you know, dialogue's kind of all over the place. But by the time it gets to the second act, it starts getting better and starts rolling. And it just rolls right into the third act. And everything just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better, which I agree with that. But, I mean, with the first act, for me, it hit just as well, because in order to get to that second or third act, for it to get to that level, you need to build it from the ground up. Like, we've already known all this information, but it's like we got to show how we get there. And sometimes to get there, it's not always going to be super clean. So we have to show some type of realistic expectation of how we gonna get there. We got to show how we get there. We can't just say, all right, pop this is the good part. Like, no. Every movie's not perfect. It's gonna be good parts and bad parts, but sometimes you need certain parts to get to the good part. Like, certain things that happen in the movie, you do kind of question, though. It's kind of like I'm not gonna tell you who, but like somebody just does something out of nowhere who's never been able to display that ability ever, and it's like, wait, how was they able to do that? You know what I mean? Or wait a minute, how can they do that? They never they never, like, did I miss a scene or something like that? But you was like, it's very, very small and very, very minor. It's like nitpicking. So it's not really that big of a deal. But those are the things that little like that stood out to me. And I was just like, okay. And I just said, whatever. I just went along with it. But one of the biggest takeaways from this movie, I have to say, is they keep it focused on Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's his story, focused on him. His flaws as a hero, his flaws as Peter Parker, and to realize he is still young, he's still a kid, he's going to make mistakes. At the end of the day, all he wants to do is just do the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing does result in consequences. And that's basically what you follow Spider-Man / Peter Parker throughout this entire movie. Like, he's just making decisions, just trying to be a good person, not even worrying about how he's affected by it. He's just worried about everybody else. And these are the consequences behind the choices he makes. And it's just, they are dire consequences. Like, you're sitting back like, oh shit, like this motherfucker needs a hug. By the end of it, like, yo, you really need a hug, man. I was juggling between like a 9, a 9.5 out of 10. But now that I sit back and think about it, it's just like, because I had time to let it settle in, and I talked about it with other people. I'm gonna have to give this shit a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, it's not a perfect movie, but it is a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, this could be possibly one of the best Spider-Man movies ever. Debatable. I'll say it's debatable. Because people are going to be like, really, really, really? Debatable. I can see the argument. I can see the debate. It by being one of the best Spider-Man movies ever. So, there's my thoughts on it. Made it this far. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. Do me a favor. Subscribe, like, and share. And if you want, just leave a comment section in the section below. Peace.